In this video, I want to talk about how to become an entrepreneur, the things you need to know. Stay tuned.
Class is in session, only right that you stay in your seat. Opposition straight.
So a lot of people may be wondering what it takes to become an entrepreneur. This is the question that I see a lot. It's the top thing on YouTube. Not necessarily of all time, but it's a very common question that a lot of people are asking themselves, and people probably are wondering why. As human beings, sometimes we question our existence. We question why we're here. We question what are we here to do, our purpose. And I'm looking to shed some light in this video to help people understand, because it's something that, number one, has been on the top of my mind, but number two, I know a lot of people are searching for this answer. So hopefully some of the tips that I give you in this video you can take and run with. And then from there, I'll also tell you the steps that you need to build yourself up and grow and be able to live a life you absolutely enjoy through entrepreneurship. So I want to talk about, for the people out there who do not know me, my name is Nicholas Kemp, and I am an entrepreneur of 4+ years. I run 2 companies, one being BAM ENT LLC. I have 2 other business partners on that. And the other company I run with another business partner is called QuikBills LLC, which is a funding company, and BAM ENT is a music and entertainment company. So my experience, first of all, I want to say a disclaimer as far as my experience isn't the end-all be-all when it comes to entrepreneurship. This community and thing that I'm building is to simply share perspective and for us to be able to ultimately grow, because I strongly believe that if you're not growing in life, you are dying. We are not put on this earth to just work and die. We are here for purpose. We are here to inspire. We are here to impact. And I strongly do believe that. So if you're not in a line with those things, maybe this isn't the video for you, but let's get straight into it. So with entrepreneurship, I want people to understand that it is a journey. This isn't something that is for the weak, and I say for the weak in a way of mentally. Let me just say this, and people may argue, maybe you will agree, but I strongly believe that entrepreneurship is similar to religion. And I know people may be thinking like, what do you mean? And entrepreneurship is very similar to religion in the following ways. Number one, it's a true testament of faith. You're believing in your dreams and you're taking a leap, hoping that it works, which if you are in some level of partake in religious practice or consider yourself spiritual, you will understand that things do happen in divine order, but also there is a hierarchy in the universe in which you have to believe in something higher than yourself. So that's why I say entrepreneurship is like that. For one, it's a leap of faith. Number two, it is a growth journey. When people look back at their entrepreneurial experiences, a lot of time they pay a lot of homage to some level of faith, which ultimately leads to growth. They reflect on who they used to be. Most people are thankful for those types of times as well, because You only get that journey once. Once you become a higher level of yourself, it's hard to really go back to what you used to be, even though that perspective of yourself made you who you are, right? So with that being said, it's a growth journey, right? And then lastly, that I want to say is that it's easy to go astray. So even though you have these tools, you have these things, you can use power in order to be negative or positive. So what I mean by that is, some people would say in a time period that we live in now, that it's hard to follow the rules and regulations of things like the Bible, the Quran, and things of that nature. But I would argue that you live as close to the book as you can because they were written in certain times. Now, it doesn't mean make excuses for it, but you live as close to based on the current period, because that's all that you were given. We weren't around 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago where things may have applied a little bit different. And I think that's what people have to understand. This is a life novel. It is adaptable. It grows, but the principles still stay the same. So for example, we know no matter back then or now, committing murder is something you cannot do. Doesn't matter in the future, doesn't matter right now, doesn't matter in the past. It's been a crime across multitudes of generations, so we know that to be true. So I think entrepreneurship is very similar to religion in those ways, and I can probably find a lot of different reasons for that, but those are the things that I want to highlight. The next thing that I want to talk about is entrepreneurship is a very lonely road. Most successful people in the world talk about growth. We all grow, and unfortunately, people cannot come with you. And this is something that I can say truthfully that I'm honestly understanding, because of where I want to go is different than where other people want to go. And that could be whether it's a relationship, people grow apart, there's so many different things. So it's not just business related. It's just when you see the moment you see yourself in a different way is the moment that person for that moment may not be able to rise to the next level with you, because they cannot see what is actually going on to be able to, or they may not even want to. That is a possibility as well. They may not even want to elevate and change, and therefore you have to make a decision in order to stay within that stigma or rise to the occasion and be the person that you know you're supposed to be. So entrepreneurship is a lonely road. And that leads me to, you will outgrow people. And it's not to say that in that moment that you don't love that person, that you don't see that person as, a friend. It's just you might have elevated or they elevated. Sometimes you're the person who doesn't elevate. People outgrow you. And that's important to understand. Don't mean we can't meet on a certain level again, but it's just people have to be in alliance. They have to be within the same thought patterns to really see how can we elevate together. That's why you see different movements or you see ideas flourish with different people, because somebody either, number one, got out of their own way and attached themselves to the dream, even if they didn't see themselves in that light, they supported it. You got those people. You also have those people who may not have seen the vision at that moment, so you or they grew past you, and now you see the value in it and you started your own thing. So that is a possibility as well. And I say this to say it, we all become these people at some point. Think about in a relationship where my mom always said, even in a relationship, maybe you were the transition person. You're probably wondering what that means. Let's say you dated somebody for 5 years, right? Things seemed okay. Things started going downhill, whatever the case may be. Now you're probably wondering, because you may keep in contact with the ex or whatever the case may be, or you see where he or she is in life, and you might be wondering, why didn't they do that when I was there? There's a couple of different reasons for that. Number one, you might not have been the person that you needed to be in order to bring out the best and or the worst in that person at that time. Number two, they might not have been as accepting of the matter in order to become that version of themselves that they see now. So you might be wondering, like, she wasn't really cleaning up or being this type of person with me, but now she's like this with somebody else. And that happens all the time. Right? So people outgrow people, and you have to allow people to be able to grow into who they are. And we have to be accepting of that. The third thing that I want to talk about is the fact that opportunity comes in waves. So as an entrepreneur, we have to understand when opportunity arises, or we create the opportunity as we see fit. And we've all experienced a moment in time where I should have did this, or I could have did this, or I did it and it worked out. And I'll let you run with that. So those are the three things I want people to really be aware of. Number one, so a recap: people change. Growth is something that everybody goes through. Entrepreneurship is an ultimate test of faith. It is similar to religion in a lot of different ways. You have to become a higher version of yourself.
Harder than ever, bars clever, I'll probably flow forever. Battle whoever, snake rattling, cattle spread pressure. Catalyst for hazardous happenings in this rapping shit. Talk about the smoke, but you